I teach granny squares a little differently to some people. I like to turn each row, partly because it gives you a double-sided fabric, so there's no right or wrong side, and partly because crochet stitches slant, so when you work all in one direction you end up with what I call a Catherine wheel effect. It's not so noticeable on a square this size, but when you're making a big one it is. Another reason is you can do things like this. This is fun to do, and if you do it this way, apart from your middle ones which I've worked in, you can only have one end for each colour. Start with a slip stitch on your hook. Make sure you have a long enough end to sew in. Work 4 chain. Slip stitch to your first chain. Move the end out of the way and then work another 3 chain. I turn at this point, but it isn't necessary. Work another 2 treble into your chain loop and 1 chain. Now, if you can work over this end. If not, don't worry about it, you can sew it in later. You now need another 3 groups of 3 trebles and 1 chain. So that's 1, 2, 3 and 1 chain. 1, 2, 3 and 1 chain, and 1, 2, 3 and 1 chain. Now this is where you need to slip stitch to your 3 chain. It's easier to count backwards. So those 2 bars there are the top of your second treble. Those 2 bars there are the top of your first treble, which means that these 2 bars here are the top of your chain. So you need to carefully put your hook underneath those 2 bars. Make sure you have 2 bars on top of your hook. If you only have 1, you will create a hole. Then yarn over and through everything on the hook to make your slip stitch. That is the end of your first round. As I've worked my end in, I'm just going to snip this off so that it doesn't get in the way. If you haven't worked it in, you would need to sew it in before you cut it off. Turn your work. Slip stitch into your chain space and make 3 chain. So again, this counts as your first treble. Work another 2 treble into the same place. You've now made half of your corner. We're going to make the second half of this corner when we come back around. In each of the next 3 chain spaces, we need 3 trebles, 1 chain and 3 trebles. We don't do chains in between the groups of 3 trebles along the side. The only place we use a chain is on the corner so that we get the nice corner shape. Oops. Okay, so now you can see we have 3 corners and half of a corner. We're going to do another 3 treble into the same chain space as the first half of the corner that we made. Then 1 chain, and again we need to slip stitch to the top of the 3 chain, so count backwards 1, 2, 3, and pop that underneath your 2 bars. Yarn over and through everything for your slip stitch. Now we have something that looks like a little square. What we're going to do here is start using stitch markers to make things easier. I tend to use 3 the same colour to go into the 3 regular corners. So the corners that we make 3 trebles, 1 chain and 3 trebles in, mark them all the same colour. The 4th corner we use a different colour for, but we're going to put that in a minute. So first of all, turn, slip stitch into the chain space. When you do this, make sure that you have 1, 2, 3 trebles on that side and 1, 2, 3 trebles on that side. Work 3 chain and then make another 2 trebles in the same place. So this is when we put our final marker in. It goes in this hole here, but make sure it sits behind the stitches that you've just made. This makes it easier to work out what you're doing later on. Now this row's slightly different as we have a hole in the side. So for the hole in the side, we just do 3 trebles. No chains in between these. Then we've got a corner. Now the corner is 3 treble, 1 chain, 3 treble. So hold your marker to one side, work your 3 treble. And then 1 chain. Move your marker over and hold it to the other side, then work another 3 treble the other side of it. So we have 3 treble, 1 chain, 3 treble with your marker sitting in the middle of them. We now carry on around working 3 into the side and 3 chain 3 into the corners. There you go. Now we're back to this first corner, which is also the last corner. So what we do is 3 treble into where the orange marker is. And make 1 chain. Then work your slip stitch the same as you have before. Turn the work. Slip stitch into just above the orange marker and work 3 chain. Then work another 2 treble into the same place. Now you need to move your markers. So take your orange one out and put it in to just behind the stitches that you've just made. Take your green ones out and put these into the chain space just above where they already were. As you get more used to doing these corners, you won't need these 3, but I suggest you keep that orange one in for a little while until you get used to doing that corner, so that you don't just go working past it. Okay, so now you will see we have 2 holes on the side. Each time you do a round, you will create an extra hole along the side. So we need to do 3 trebles in each of those holes with no chains in between. Then you need your regular corner of 3 treble, one chain and 3 treble. Do this all the way around until you get back to this corner. We're back to the beginning now, so we need to do the same as before with 3 treble into the orange space, and 1 chain, and slip stitch to the 3rd chain opposite. Now I only need 4 rows on my granny squares, as I'm going to be using them for a different project later on. However, I'm going to show you this corner again. So turn, slip stitch into above the orange marker, 1, 2, 3 chain, and then 1, 2 trebles, and carry on all the way around. As you can see this time, you now have 3 holes along each side. I'm going to leave that there and let you carry on with it if you want it bigger.